Grover's Mill, New Jersey. This is where, in 1938, aliens landed and started attacking the United States. Or so many people believed after a 1938 broadcast by a young Orson Welles of the story War of the Worlds. This is the setting. This is where it happened, and this is where the hysteria all started. I'm going to take you around this little town and show you what it looks like now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars.
So not too far away from where we just were is Van Ness Park. I'm not sure why they chose this park, but there are all these plaques that tell the story of what happened that night, and a really interesting plaque that I'll show you that shows the depictions of the aliens and Orson Welles doing the broadcast. So a little bit of backstory to this. The War of the Worlds was a science fiction novel written by H.G. Wells, and that book was adapted by Howard Koch to be played on the radio, kind of like into a script. And that script was written so it could sound like a news broadcast about an alien invasion. And it basically consisted of multiple news bulletins that interrupted smooth playing orchestra music or jazz music. They were reporting that Martians attacked and destroyed the New Jersey State Militia, and that they attacked other cities throughout the country, including New York City, which coincidentally was where Orson Welles was broadcasting. So this is that plaque I was talking to you about, erected here in 1988 for the 50-year anniversary of that crazy night. And you might be asking yourself, why Grover's Mill, New Jersey? Well, when Howard Koch was adapting the original H.G. Wells novel, so Orson Welles could perform it on the radio, by the way, there's no relation at all, he basically took a map, dropped his pen down onto the map, and it landed on Grover's Mill, New Jersey. So this became the setting to that crazy story that they told. And for a long time, the local people here did not like the story. They did not like that it happened here. But as time went on, they came to really embrace the story, and this plaque is now here, and it's kind of an interesting place. A lot of people come and take pictures of it, and they read the plaques that are along this path. It's a very pretty area, so it's a good setting for it. So upwards of 6 million people possibly heard Orson Welles broadcast that night, and while he did make some periodic announcements that it was fictional, a lot of people either did not tune in to the beginning or the end, where he mostly stated, hey, this is fictional, this is just a story. And so a lot of those people believed this story to be true.
Something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. It's going higher and higher. What? It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
One of the most interesting legends or rumors or whatever you want to call it about this entire situation is that here in Grover's Mill, some residents opened fire on a water tower that actually looks very strange. So that is the old tower that, the way the story goes, that people were actually shooting at that. Again, picture 1938. It's dark out. There's mass hysteria going on. And according to stories, people were shooting at that thinking it was one of the aliens. I mean, they were tripod-like, 3 legs. They were very tall. Imagine walking through this area. You just heard that there was an alien invasion going on, and in fact in Grover's Mill, and you look up through the trees and you see that freaky thing. Now, even if it is just a story, it's a pretty cool one. There's been a lot of conflicting ideas about the number of people who actually panicked, though. But the next day was all over the news. The New York Times had a headline, "Radio Listeners in Panic Taking War Drama as Fact," stating that thousands of people had called the police in various towns and cities seeking advice on protective measures. In Newark, more than 20 families rushed out of their houses with wet handkerchiefs and towels over their faces. In Indianapolis, a woman ran into a church screaming, "New York is destroyed. It's the end of the world. I just heard it on the radio. You might as well go home to die." And services were dismissed immediately. And you could argue that back then people were more innocent and more believing or more gullible than they are now. Not having a cell phone then or a computer where you could just look up what was going on in your local area, you had to take this as fact almost. So this is theoretically the area where the Martians landed. You're looking at what Orson said was the Willmoth farm, and that was a fictional farm, but the next day reporters came here to what was the Wilson farm, assuming that the name was mispronounced on the radio. And as you can see, the Wilson farm is long gone, and it is now the West Windsor North Plainsboro High School. And you're looking at the beautiful track and field here. To end the show, Wells actually went into his normal persona and said that this was just a Halloween joke, that none of this had ever happened. But people had already panicked and possibly not even heard the very end of the broadcast. So following that epic broadcast, people were pretty mad. There was definitely some public outcry, and I guess they were mad that they were fooled into thinking that aliens had landed and started attacking the United States. But Orson Welles and CBS Radio maintained that they gave fair warning that it was just a performance. And that all came from the Mercury Theater, which was this building behind me, long gone now. There used to be a plaque here, but I think that's gone now. I think this is now 5 Bryant Park, and unfortunately they removed the little plaque that talked about the Mercury Theater and that crazy performance that night. Now it's just some artistic mosaic design here, and unfortunately I see no plaque on either side of these entrances on this building. But this is where it all started. And Orson, of course, went on to become a fantastic director and actor and producer, making films like Citizen Kane and many other amazing movies. But I would say the War of the Worlds performance was his best. That's just my opinion. And oh yeah, Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater were never punished or anything like that. They managed to escape any kind of punishment for that stunt. And even CBS Radio promised to never use the "we interrupt this broadcast" alert for anything fictional ever again, and I don't think they ever have. And it all happened right here. I wish there was a plaque or something to show you, but there isn't. But this is the building. But hey, I'm in New York City, so I'm gonna go enjoy it. I'm gonna get something to eat, maybe some Sbarro pizza. If you know, you know. Hope you liked it. See you in the next video.